There's a couple of things I wanted to come out with. One is that our players have an experience that's will be a lifetime full of memories, something that they can take with them and remember the rest of their lives. And I think they did. The games over there, it's hard for me to explain, but I'll give you an example. It was I think it was the third game of the trip. We were taking our bus. We just had like a 5 or 6 hour bus ride. We go into this dusty, foggy city of Taihe. And it's, you see a couple flea market type deals on the side of the road. Then you realize the whole city's a flea market. Everywhere you go, it's mopeds and flea markets, and there's no such thing as small cities. For instance, Hefei, the first city we went to, is a city of 9 million people. Houston's 4 million. This place is 9 million. But we go and play at a sports arena that they just opened. We were the first event there. Seat 5,000 people, packed house. And I was sitting there looking at our staff, and I said, "This is amazing." Here it is, August 19th or maybe 17th or 18th, something like that. We're playing in front of 5,000 people against a professional basketball team. And that front line would have probably been equal to or better than any front line that we played against last year. That's how good they were. 6'10", 6'11", 250, 260, 27, 28 years old. They're professional players. Moutier that was at it, played over in China. It was the same league that he played in. That's how good these teams were. And here we are playing white knuckle basketball in August in front of 5,000 people. And you talk about getting a read on your team. You go to Canada or you go to Bahamas and you play and you beat teams 120 to 70, 50, and you come back and people think you're good because the scores. But you come back not having any idea how good your team is. Well, I came back knowing exactly that we have a pretty good team. I mean, we won 3 out of 4 games on that trip, and the game we lost, we had an 11-point lead in. So, so from a basketball standpoint, it was a great confidence builder. Building team chemistry and connecting together is important. But I don't think you do that by going to Canada, staying at the Hyatt Regency, eating steak and lobster, and doing bungee jumping in the afternoon. I'm not sure how much you get out of that, but we're eating buffets that if there's 20 items on the buffet, and they got tons of stuff on the Chinese buffet, and trust me, this is not Panda Express or whatever, some sushi bar. It's not where we were eating. 16 of the 20 items, we have no idea what they were. And the ones that we did have an idea, we weren't going to touch. Snail, I don't know what you do with snail. Put it between the bread? No, I don't eat snail. But octopus, I tried. All their foods over there is done with great love and great joy and great commitment to time. It takes so long to prepare a Chinese meal. And I have great respect for their chefs, but I think it's an acquired taste. Americans, we're creatures of habit, and our habit is fast food or comfort food, and that's not comfort food. Most of the time, our guys either ate rice or watermelon, and I told them to expand, try some things, and they informed me that they did. But the meals were a little bit of a challenge, which is great. The hotels, a lot of people think camping is staying at a Spring Hill Suite or staying at Holiday Inn Express. Well, these hotels were a challenge. The bus rides, 5, 6, 7 hour bus rides. But everything that happened on this trip that could be construed as somewhat of a negative, to me was a positive. Because it forced our team to lean on each other and to grow closer together. There's no social media. They weren't on their phones texting and tweeting all day. They were back in the back of the bus on a 6, 7 hour bus ride playing cards or laughing. It's music to my ears to sit on the front of the bus and hear our guys laughing and talking and getting to know each other. So everything about that trip was amazing. We played 4 games in 4 days. Then after that, we did sightseeing. I would say the highlight of the sightseeing was the Yellow Mountains. If you've never heard of the Yellow Mountains, I would encourage you to Google it. Google it, because there's nothing I can say that could bring home the utter indescribable beauty of it. Everything about that was amazing. And we hiked to the top of it with help of a tram. But it was a challenge to walk up that mountain, even though there were steps for us to go up. But it was the beauty of that, the experience. Those are memories and things that we'll never forget. Our kids did a great job of videoing it and taking pictures and sharing it with their families once they got back to Houston. So it was a great trip. I've taken teams to Russia, Costa Rica, Bahamas. I know I'm forgetting somewhere. This was the most incredible trip I've ever taken a team on, because I look at their players' faces when they got back, and we went. When we left here, we had 12 guys that were wearing Houston uniforms. When we got back, we had a really good team, and that was something that you can't put a price tag on.
Yeah, obviously the cultural experience is more important than anything else, but how encouraging was it to see your team do as well as they did in China against the competition?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what kind of team we had. 10 practices, I could see. I've been around long enough to know whether or not you have good guards, and that's where I always think college basketball starts. You have to have good guards. I know we had a lot of guards, and I know individually I thought they were pretty good. But there was a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns, because I'd never seen them, with live bullets. But once we got to China, the very first game in Hefei City was against the Chinese junior national team. These are guys that will be on the Olympic team. They're all between 18 and 22 years old. I'd say their front line was 6'10", 6'11", 6'10". Really good guards. And they jumped on us. I mean, I think the first quarter, we gave them 30 points. You never know, we'd emphasize defense a little bit in our training camp. But it took us a while to adjust to their speed and how well they played together. You could tell this was our first game, and it was probably their 75th game. It reminded me a little bit of international competition before we started taking our pros. We're taking a bunch of college all-stars, going over to playing these. It's like the 1988 Olympics in Seoul. We took all these great college players, and we started playing these teams, and we're getting killed. And that first quarter reminded me of that. But you could tell that our team settled down. We started playing together, started making the extra pass, made some adjustments defensively, and winning that game was a big deal, because that was a good team. Game 2 was a little interesting. Not going to dwell on game 2 a whole lot, but game 3 and 4 we got better and better and better. What I got out of the trip, Howard, was that we have good guards, and we're deep. We got a little bit of Noah's Ark going here, and we got 2 of everything. Galen Robinson and Ronnie Johnson on that trip. Both of them started. I didn't start the same team twice. I don't think, I may be wrong on that, but I don't think I did. But I got to see a lot of different lineups, a lot of different combinations. But I know we have 2 really good point guards in Galen Robinson and Ronnie Johnson, and I think I started them together the first game actually. Galen started at point, Ronnie on the wing, which is fine. They can do that. But on that trip, Eric Weary played well. But arguably our best guard was Rob Gray. I know he led us in scoring. I mean, he's a good player. And then at the other wing spot, you have LaRon Barnes and Damian Dotson, who played a lot together in critical moments and in some big games. So you think on the wing you have Dotson and LaRon Barnes, and you have Rob Gray, Eric Weary, and you have Galen and Ronnie. Six good guards now. There's not a lot of drop-off when whoever you put in there. And then the first 3 games, our best player was probably Devontae Pollard. He wore down in the 4th game because it's 4 games in 4 days, but really impressed with the development of Devontae. A guy that really got me a little excited that I didn't know a lot about because he didn't show up until June 9th or 10th because of academic issues was Xavier Dupree. You know, Xavier's tall. You know, I say people will say 6'9". Well, there's not all 6'9s are equal. There's some short 6'9s and there's some really long 6'9s. Xavier Dupree is long. I mean, when he's out there alongside our guys, he's 6'9", but he looks 6'11" because his arms wingspan and his length is a factor. And he's learning to play. He has no clue how to play hard. He has no clue how good he can be. But we're going to challenge him. And we're going to push that kid because I think he's got a chance to be good. And then at the 5 spot, Kyle Meyer had really good moments. Now he had really good moments where, you know, we sent out a missing persons report on him one game. I said, oh, there he is. Kyle, I didn't know you were on the floor. And then Bert, who hasn't played in 17 or 18 months, not until since March of 13, I would guess. You know, he had some really good moments, but you know, I just like our team. You know, I feel very confident we're going to have a good basketball team. This is going to be fun. You know, I don't know who's going to read this. I have no idea who's going to see it. But if you're listening to me, if you're looking at me, come watch this team play, and come watch them early. Because if you wait till late, it might be too late. This place may get packed. Because people get excited about this team now. We have a good team.
What did you learn most about this team off the court?
Good guys. You know, I read, I can't remember what school had a player got locked up on this trip. And, you never wish that on any team. Yeah, it's kind of ruins the trip for everybody. And I'm sure, can't remember the school, but I'm sure they have great kids, and one knucklehead ruined it for everybody. And don't have to worry about that with this group. Not saying that they're not capable of making a mistake down the road, but you know, this team is tight. I think they respect each other. They get along. We don't have any prima donnas, which is not going to happen in this program anyway. But you can tell this team really gets along well. But I think the trip kind of forced them to, because of the adverse conditions, the long bus rides, the hotels that were, I don't even know how to describe some of those hotels.
There you go, Coach. There you go.
Good Lord. But, you know, all the things that we had to go through, from the meals to the hotels to the bus ride, all good for us. I think it's good. You know, Americans, we live in the greatest country in the world, and we get spoiled because of what we have. Then we go somewhere and see other people live and we don't like it. Well, sometimes that's not a bad thing. And so I'm glad our guys had a chance to experience that.
Anybody barter their way or bring back anything cool or that you were impressed by?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, smoking's a big deal over there now. Those people really embrace smoking. That's they love it. So when I say we had a 7-hour bus ride, a big reason for that is that includes about 6 smoke breaks by the driver. And every time we had a smoke break, our guys would go in and, you know, at these little service areas. But in service areas, you could go in and buy anything that dealt with Chinese culture. And our guys would go in there and find good deals. But what I really liked was we went to a kind of a market where you could actually go barter, and they give you the price. And those deals, you've got to show a little intestinal fortitude. That guy say $10, we don't pull out $10 and give it to him. You know, you come back and say $4. You know, there's a little bit of the pawn shop thing. You know, Rick from the pawn shop, you say, I want, how much you ask him for? You say $5,000. He'll offer you $600 right off the bat. Well, it's not that extreme, but that's what you've got to do, and it's fun watching our guys do that. But they brought back some amazing things, and they enjoyed it. Our guys had a good trip in basketball, but they were also really good at shopping.
Coach, looks like you all had a great trip, and thank you for your time.
It was an unforgettable trip. We're so blessed to have this opportunity, and there's one guy that I really want to thank personally. That's John Morris Jr., whose generosity helped us make this trip. So I know I communicated with him this morning and can't thank him enough for his generosity and love of this university.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.